and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young on this kind of soupy July day. I have an amazing guest tonight. She's running for state senate on the Cape, I guess, whatever district that is. We're going to talk to her, find out what her deal is, what her visions are. Then have a great discussion as always. But before I get to her, I got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have the Riverside Cafe in Wareham, open 6 days a week, all except Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They make the best breakfast in Boston and the Cape, and they have DoorDash delivery. That's in Wareham. We have RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have Tom Lotto in Middleborough. We have the Cornerstone Barbershop in Pembroke. We have Avon Psychiatric Services in East Wareham, formerly in my other building where I did the show in Easton. We have D&S Auto Works, Equipment Specialists in Abington, right up the road on Route 58. And we have Evan Young Realty. That's Evan, my brother, the realtor. I want to thank you guys very much, and I want to say hi to and welcome Kari MacRae, no relation to the beautiful Tate MacRae, but pretty beautiful as it is, right? There's no relation to her, are you?
No relation.
Okay, all right, and you're running for state senate. First of all, a quick question: what district is that? You run Barnstable, right?
So it's the Plymouth and Barnstable district. So it covers Plymouth, Pembroke, Plimpton, Kingston, and then Sandwich, Bourne, Mashpee, and Falmouth.
Okay, so part of the towns are on the Cape and part of the mines.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize I never knew how they divided it. Wow, the town of Plimpton is right here on Area 58. It's
yes.
Towns that you probably knew that, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So our show will be on. Well, it'll be on YouTube everywhere, but it'll also be on in Plimpton on whatever channel they play it here. After all, I just freelance. I don't know what the number is, but that's okay. Well, plenty of people are going to see it. All right. Well, tell me first question. Why did you decide to run for state senate? Did you have are there changes you want to make, or you tell me? We'll start with that.
Yeah, I mean, my background is, for the last 15 years or so, I was in education. I was teaching at a high school.
Okay. What high school?
So my last job was at Hanover High School, actually,
okay.
As the business teacher, DECA. Really focused on. I love the business aspects of things, entrepreneurship, marketing, things like that. So then COVID came around.
Oh yeah.
And my mother was very ill, stage 4 heart and lung failure.
Yep.
So she went on hospice. I took care of her, and I spent the time taking care of my mom and then also watching the news and seeing what was happening during those crazy times with, the George Floyd stuff. So much that was going on, and then seeing what was happening in the classroom that was being reported from people across the country, including the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And I said, I need to get involved. So I decided to get involved, and I ran for school board.
Okay.
And
I
was elected to be on the school board in the town of Bourne.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yep.
Yep, that's where I live, in the town of Bourne, smack dab in the middle of the district.
Yep.
And so I ran, everything was going great. And then it was time for the kids to come back to school. And it was about, some arguments in-house about whether or not we needed to have a policy for face mask wearing.
Oh.
I was on the side of, hey, you know what? Why don't we just follow what the commissioner is going to tell us to do? It's really, it doesn't really matter. Just because we can create policies doesn't necessarily mean that's something we want to do. So I pushed back and said no on that face mask policy. The next day, all hell broke loose because I'm a conservative, really an independent, but a conservative person.
All right, hold on a second. I got a question right now. So this was it. The timeline of this event, the face mask agenda deal was probably around the fall of 2020, right?
2021, yeah.
Okay, so we'd already started getting vaccinated, correct?
Oh yes.
All right. So I just wanted to make sure that you weren't skipping the line here.
Yes, no.
Okay.
I did not take any of those vaccinations. Some people did.
You're brave, I'll tell you.
I didn't, because when the card came out, because we were gonna have to show our vax card, and it had 4 lines on it.
Okay.
I thought to myself, that's probably not a good sign. I don't think this is gonna be a one and done. And as we saw, it was not a one and done. So I opted out of it. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but that definitely opened my eyes to paying more attention. So started paying more attention to things. And So because I pushed back on some of the political things like that, which evidently COVID became more political, I lost my job as a teacher.
Wow, you mean they
I
fired you for that?
I was fired.
Oh, hold on a second. You wanted to see to the school committee, the school board, correct?
Different town.
Oh, what town is that? What town are we talking now?
So I'm on the school board in Bourne, but
Yeah,
I was a teacher in Hanover.
gotcha. Okay, so they fired you from Hanover High School because of your stand on the masks, right?
On masks and other conservative topics.
Oh, wow. Did you? Wow, but that seems so archaic. I mean, you didn't have tenure or anything. I mean, how long you must have been there a while, I'm guessing, right?
So I wasn't there that long. I
Oh,
wasn't there
okay.
that long. In fact, they could have let me go. They could have let me go under the first 90 days because just wasn't a good fit. But they chose to fire me and cite it was because of my social media posts.
Oh, really? Wow. What do you kind of like? You like being outrageous? Is that it?
I guess I was outrageous. You know, the truth hurts sometimes. So I spoke the truth about a bunch of things, had a lot of people that were following me.
Oh,
On my TikTok account, I had over 10,000 followers.
yeah,
It was a good, and we had good discussions.
yeah.
I was fired. I brought a lawsuit against them, went all the way up to the Supreme Court,
Okay.
the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And at the last, they couldn't take the case because the lawyers that I had added a change to the argument. So therefore, they couldn't take the case because the argument had been changed.
Oh,
So
wow.
my case wasn't heard, but Justice Clarence Thomas did write an amazing dissent saying that Massachusetts had it wrong.
Okay, was that now? Did that favor you or didn't favor you?
The dissent from Justice Thomas favored me.
Yeah, that's right.
But they didn't decide to take the case because my lawyers changed the argument.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, why did you always change the argument if it was going to end up screwing you in a bad way? What was that about?
I don't know, but at the end of the day, it kind of worked out because when we fast forward to what was going on with Charlie Kirk when he lost his life and was murdered, and then you had some teachers that were out there saying, "Yay, yay, yay! I'm so happy." They got fired,
Oh, wow.
and then
Yeah,
they
but
were like, "Well, wait a minute."
I didn't get you reinstated. That was so many years later.
Nope, nothing. I have not been reinstated. I work for another company, and that's when I decided when I lost my job, and I'm like, well, clearly teaching's going to be a challenge in Massachusetts right now.
Yeah.
So I decided to run for office.
Okay. And now, when is the election for that? Is that this coming fall?
The election is November.
Yep. Okay. Fall.
So I ran in 22
Okay.
against the incumbent Democrat. I got 44%. She was at 56.
Yep.
And then I ran again in 24.
Okay.
I did have Sue Moran decided she wasn't going to run, so it became an open seat. A Republican, if you will, from an establishment Republican, decided to jump in and have a primary with me.
Okay.
He was in office as a state rep up on Beacon Hill for 10 years.
Who was it?
And in the primary, he beat me by 37 votes.
Who was that?
Matt Muratori.
Okay. So you're running as a Democrat, correct?
Nope, I'm Republican.
You're a Republican. Okay. All right. Well, so now you're going for it again. Have you made any campaign changes in your campaign strategy since the last runs?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think we're in an even worse state now in Massachusetts, my personal opinion.
Yep.
And so because of that, there are a lot of differences between the progressive liberal Democrat that was elected in 24. He won, Dylan Fernandes, so Senator Fernandes. So I will be having just a general election against him in November.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about your history. I do this with every guest. I want to find out where you grew up, what you were like as a child, what did you aspire to? Sounds like you were a spark plug your whole life. Someone that always had that was never stayed on the sidelines, always went out and got stuff done.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Let's
absolutely.
talk about that. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
So
We have any questions. So,
I've been married. I grew up in Bourne,
okay.
Massachusetts, and
Yep.
my father was a police officer and a Coast
Yep.
Guard special agent.
Okay.
My mom was a writer,
Okay.
and she was an amazing writer. Actually, had quite a few novels published.
Wait.
And she is where I get a lot of my, salt and vinegar from, I guess you could say. She was a fighter. When she would see things on the news, she would say, "Here, I heard this, but do your own research," right? And so she kind of trained me that this is my opinion, but you need to do your research, and then you let me know what your opinion is. So I really respected her for
Yep.
that. She had her strong conservative views, but she didn't force them on anybody, and I don't either. Um,
Okay.
so I have three children.
Yep.
I have six grandchildren. I
Wow.
have a bonus daughter that I call. She was one of my students
Okay.
when I worked in New Bedford when I first started my career.
Okay.
And we're a good family. We do a lot together. In fact, I'm here down in Bourne right now. There's festivities happening in Sandwich. The granddaughters are with my husband having fun. You know,
Great.
really important to have. Family is a huge thing. I feel like we only get one go around. In life,
Yeah.
and the important things are your family, your friends, your faith,
Yeah.
and trying to live every day as a good person, and I think that's really important.
Well, definitely with those ideas, you got a pretty good shot at winning the election. As far as if people love family values that are voting, I'd say. I
Yep.
always have, and they always seem to find negativity in people like they might be single parents because they think, oh well, if they're divorced, then maybe they were bad spouses or whatever, and this and that. It's the subliminal messages that you want to the negative ones that you want to avoid as much as you can. I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Were you an athletic child? Did you play sports a lot? Did you do anything in any entertainment?
I did a little bit. I played basketball. I did like basketball a lot.
Okay.
I didn't I like to dance. I was in dance for many, many years, all the way
Okay.
through high school. I did dance. I loved that. Really kind of, I find when you dance, it kind of just lifts your spirits. And,
Good.
even on a bad day, if you dance around a little bit, it kind of brings, at least for me, kind of peace of mind and happiness and joy. So I'm
Well,
always doing a lot of silly dancing. I always do silly dancing with my grandchildren, and they laugh at me, but it puts smiles on their faces and they get along with it.
Yeah, it's great. Did you go to college at all? And if so, where? What did you major
I
in?
did. I went to college. I went to college late. I met my husband when we were in our first round of college, and then I
Okay.
became pregnant, raised my family, and when the kids were older, getting to the point that they were going into high school, they were like, "Why do we have to go to college? You didn't finish college." And
Oh,
so I was like, "You know what? You're right." So I went back to school, went through the Curry College night school program.
I'm a Kari grad too. How
Um,
about that? Class of
yeah, yeah.
1989.
Yep, I did that, and so I got my degree in business management with a minor in communications and a focus really on human resources and understanding psychology and things. I took a lot of classes that taught me to kind of look at people as all of them, not just one little thing, and to ask questions to get to really know people and what their thoughts are. The more questions you ask, you get to the truth.
Right, as long as you don't grill people too much, and I try not to when I do my show. When you were in school in any capacity, did you run for any political office in that realm?
Well, when I was like a secretary or something,
Oh, okay.
when it was like middle school, and so I
Wow.
always tried to be, I definitely was somebody who would raise the hand to be like the team leader of like a group that we were doing a project, or I have no problem like delegating and things like that.
Okay. Did you ever do any, like a lot of my guests are in entertainment. You ever do any acting? You ever play music? Did you ever?
Music, I play the clarinet.
Okay.
I loved playing the clarinet. I haven't played in years. I was just telling my husband I got to dust it off. And
Okay.
and
You still got a
yeah.
clarinet? It's been sitting idle for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got an idea for you. I like to try to give ideas to my guests that could behoove them down the line. you got your campaign coming up. Maybe you could play that clarinet and create like a jingle for your political run, and see if and get it on YouTube and maybe find people. It's obvious. It sounds like your family is really behind you or whatever you do. Maybe you can get your family to sing a jingle for you and go through the streets of Bourne and Wareham and wherever else saying
That's a cute idea.
Yeah, I mean, do something outrageous. That's what you want to do, but not that you're going to hurt. Not as long as you're not hurting somebody, but something that's going to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And I mean, people are going to you got a better shot at winning the election if you get people's attention and make them scratch their head like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before.
Very good point.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to make it. All right. So what are you currently working at something else in addition to your campaign run? And if so, what is it?
Yes, so I am actually director of operations for a family-owned landscape and construction business.
Okay. What business?
Travers Landscape Construction. It's a Travers group, actually. We have also some rental property that I manage with him that's up in Washington and the Washington Mountains up in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I do that, and then I'm also doing a radio show with on WXTK.
Yeah, yes.
And it was really Mike's show, and then I started doing it with him, and he was getting a lot of positive feedback about the two of us being on there together. So now I'm stuck, and so I've been on the show with him, and we're actually talking about getting another live show. We're meeting with iHeartRadio tomorrow, actually.
Now, who's Mike? Mike what? Tell me.
So Mike Frazier is the owner of Travers, the business that I work at.
All right, so he's the one you're doing the radio podcast with, right?
He does everything. Yes, he's got his hands in everything than I do.
Right, but you're going to be part of that, right? Is that what you're saying? All right.
Yep.
Have you already been part of it before, or are you just going to be?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yep.
And how often does he do the show?
It's just on Saturdays.
On Saturdays. Okay, well, that's good. Once a week. So kind of once or twice a week. All right, that's great. So what are your visions for the future now? I'm asking, I don't usually interview, I try to keep my show as not only because I don't like to piss people off, so I respectfully agree to disagree with other people's opinions.
Yep.
But what I want to know is, what are your visions? If you win the election, what are your plans to going forward from there?
I think the biggest thing is I have a couple of friends that I've met over the years that are, of the minority party, if you will, up on Beacon Hill. And I think that the biggest thing is to have those conversations and at least say, can we talk about this?
Okay.
Like, I want to understand where you're coming from. I think there's a lot that we disagree on, the left and the right.
Yep.
And then especially on the polar left and right. But I think the most important thing is we need to make sure that we keep Massachusetts a place where people can thrive,
Yep.
where people can invest their time and energy, knowing that there's a chance that their children and their children would be able to stay here as well and afford a good life here.
Okay.
So that's really my focus, is looking at how we spend our money,
Okay.
and try to make it so that people can keep more of their hard-earned money in their pockets.
Okay.
And I think most people can agree that that's a good thing to focus on.
Does that mean you're in favor of cutting taxes in the state?
Oh, of course.
All right.
And I mean, we don't have a tax problem. We have a spending problem, right? We don't need more taxes. My opponent keeps adding more taxes, and they use different words. I don't like to use the word tax because it's got a negative connotation, but
Right.
a fee, a stipend, right? There's all these fees that they keep hitting people with, especially the people that are making successful choices.
Yep.
And that to me is a problem.
Yeah.
We need to build people up, not prevent them from climbing up.
Do you have any ideas for spending that that you want to share, like some that's not being spent on that you think should be?
Something that's not, well, I would say that I would have loved to see the multi-millions of dollars that were spent on illegal immigration, that
Okay.
we could have used that money to
Yep.
support the people that are struggling with mental health and
Yeah.
drug addiction.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. Okay.
I have a philosophy that, I'm all about helping everybody that we can in the world. But I also understand that in my home, I can only fit so many people. I only have the resources for so many to make sure that everybody's fed, everybody has health care, everybody's taken care of, they got a nice place to sleep. And
Right.
I feel like until we can say that the citizens are taken care of and the citizens have the resources that they need, we should not be spending those same citizens' money on other people until we take care of ourselves.
Okay, now you're running as a Republican, you say, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm a conservative. I am an independent conservative,
Yeah.
and I'm running on the Republican ticket.
Okay, now I actually wasn't going to bring this up, but when you mentioned the immigration thing, I got to ask your opinion on the ICE deal. That that the shooting up in Bedford, Maine, and there was
Yeah.
there seems to be and killing people like that. It seems to me that was, I mean, and they're even saying it was unjustified. How do you deal with stuff like that?
I think part of the biggest problem is, and any life that's lost is horrific.
Right.
We should not. However, I also do believe that, in these left states like Massachusetts, New Hampshire, even New Hampshire a little bit, Vermont, Maine, there are people that are here that are making bad choices that are a threat to society.
True that.
And, and we have governors in said places who are saying, no, you can't take any of them. So they also sit there and say that they don't want our local police, law enforcement, or anything to work with ICE. They want you do it on yourself. Our guys are not going to help you or work with you.
Okay, that seems to me that there are some states where they do and some states where they don't.
Yes, but in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine, they're saying hands off. We don't want you. We are what's the word? Preventing by you cannot work with ICE. You can't call them. You can't show up. You can't do any of this stuff. So I personally think that that's going to make it even more of a risk, not just for the immigrant, but for the people in the community,
Right.
and the ICE agents.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had this debate with my father, who is more of on the Democrat side.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
And I said, Dad, look, I said, Dad, do you lock your door at night? Of course I do. Why? Well, because you never know who's out there.
Right.
I said, this is the problem. We have governors like Governor Healy who says, oh, geez, yeah, that guy was there. Well, he was one bad guy. There are many, many documented bad guys. And you have judges and everything that are preventing a safe transfer of these people that are violent criminals.
Okay.
There is a process to safely transfer. If you've got somebody in your courthouse, he's documented, he is wanted for manslaughter and rape in Ecuador, and they're slipping him out the back. So then what happens is those same ICE agents say, well, thanks for not handing them over. Now we're going to go find them because they are a threat to your area and your society.
Right. Okay.
And maybe if they started, the people that are preventing ICE from doing their job, if they started by just giving over the ones that are very well documented, bad people that
Yep.
are a threat to public safety,
Yep.
we won't have as many issues with
Okay.
people losing their lives when they shouldn't.
Okay, I hear. Well, on that note, in the final 5 minutes of the show, I hope you enjoyed the discussion with me.
I hope you did too. It was great. I'm glad you had me on.
All right. So I want you to do in the remaining time is just give a few shouts out to people that are going to see the show, and then we'll wrap the show up in my snap and the way we began it.
Yeah. So look, I just want to say, for anybody that wants to get to know me better, not just as a candidate, but as a person, because every single person that's up on Beacon Hill is there because they say they want to work with you. They want to make things better for you, the society, the families, the kids, the people, everybody. And that's who I am. I'm somebody who cares about everybody. I want the best for everybody, and I love the opportunity to be in that capacity to support people.
Okay, and I want to give a personal shout out to the great old Mark Danner who got me this interview with you.
Yes,
He's fantastic. He's a really cool guy.
He's a great guy. Yep.
he's got me some wonderful guests, and I expect more. And if you know anybody you think might be a great guest for my show, you got my digits. Have them text me. We'll get them on either in person or by Zoom, whatever, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
All right. I got one last favor to ask. We're gonna wrap the show up. Will you stick around on my tech guy Jason? We'll take a pic of us for Facebook, and I'll tag you in it. You okay to do that?
Absolutely.
All right. Great job, Kari. Thank you so much, and good luck in November.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Wrapping up another great Topic Time interview. See you next time with another awesome guest. Wrapping up and snapping out.